Hey guys, it's me, Greg, from LeGrand Pressure Washing and Drain Cleaning. Better known to my YouTube audience as Uncle Greg or the Free American Spirit, but to my pressure washer friends, it's Greg. Anyways, today we're going to talk about charging your batteries. And in today's video, I don't like leaving my door open all the time, but I have to because I've got to use an extension cord. So, what happens if the clouds are running in like that and it's going to rain, or worse yet, you're charging your batteries for a couple hours and you walk away to go eat and some guy comes in and steals your pressure washer or your surface cleaner. So let's learn how to get around those problems right now in this video. And just remember, before we see our sponsor, hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. If you have a question, leave a comment. I'll try to answer it, or one of my friends will try to answer it. So let's get to the sponsor and into the video. See ya. Alright guys, welcome back. That's right, I sponsor myself. But you know what? If you use that Amazon link down below, you help me out, okay? So that way I don't have to charge for Patreon fees and all that. So buy whatever you want with my Amazon link, and that helps Uncle Greg out. So now you're asking yourself, well, Greg, how are you going to get that problem solved? And I'll tell you right now, what I'm going to do is buy one of these little gizmos. Yep, my link is down there. And what this is it's a male on one side. It has a bulkhead fitting, and then it's a plug on the other side. So just go to the Amazon, get you one of those. Second step is you're going to look all through this trailer. Now pay attention here because it's important. First thing is you're going to look at your charger, and you're going to see how long your extension cord is, because that's where this is going to go. And then somewhere you're going to see how long. You can see these, I already have two of my quick disconnects hooked up, so I'm going to see how long these cords can go when I disconnect them, and I'm going to see how long the power cord can go, and somewhere in between those I'm going to put that charger. I'm going to put this plug here, okay? And I also have to find out where that charger can be mounted. So in my particular trailer, I've been looking around, okay, and I kind of figured out that back in that corner somewhere is going to be where I'm going to put this plug dealie, okay, because that way I can mount my charger right about here. I can plug it in from outside and just crack the door open, and I can see the little indicator lights on this thing, so I don't even have to go inside. So that's probably where I'll mount the charger. And then my little gizmo, this adapter thingy here, is going to go in that corner over there, and then my cords that go to the battery will just then go down the bottom down there, and they'll just wrap around behind my batteries. Now I don't ever put anything there except for maybe a sprayer, so I want all my cords back around there so I'm not tripping on them. Of course, I will take my charger and screw it to one of those posts, probably out of the way, so when I'm messing with my reels I don't bump it and break it off. So the charger will actually kind of be around that side a little bit. And then that should do it, Now the next thing you got to check on is your trailer, because trailers aren't just solid pieces of wall. So if you look here, this wall is about an inch and a half thick, something like that. So you got to feel around and knock on it. See, the door is solid. It's got wood on it, but you don't want to put it here. But the trailer, some parts of it are pretty tough and some aren't. Now in my case, you're going to kind of have to determine, because you only get to screw this in once, guys. If you drill a hole and mess it up, you're going to have to plug your trailer or something. But in my case, if you remember, there was a big piece of metal coming down in that corner. So I'm going to put my plug about right here. I'll show you in a little while how to mount it, and then I'm going to use metal screws, because I know that my self-tapping metal screws will go all the way through and hold that. If you didn't have metal on both sides, you would go ahead and maybe drill the holes all the way through and use washers and nuts and bolts. So that's my suggestion. That's what I'm going to do. Now be careful when you're drilling these. Some of these like this, see, the side walls aren't as tough as this wall, so because that's a real short piece. So when you're drilling these, be careful. You don't want your drill to go all over, and you don't want it to scratch this up. So what I would do is put a big piece of tape here and then I'd mark my spot and pin punch it a little bit, and then I would put my drill bit or my hole saw, whatever, I'll show you the bit when I'm installing this, and very slowly go through that. You know what I'm saying? The other thing is when you put this on, once it comes time to tighten it up, this separates apart. All it is this is not a cone to hold it. This is just a little rubbery that'll slide down to protect this. So if your wall is really thick and all this is inside the wall, that's great, because your wall won't hit those things. And then, so let's just say your wall came out to like right here, you would just slide this up to right there to hit the wall. But if this comes all the way through, if your wall is thin like you put it on this piece, then you would slide this all the way over to make sure it seals this off, because you know, if you're spraying something or whatever, you don't want to go in there and hit that thing. So that's what I'm going to do with mine. Welcome back. I just wanted to show you, we have the battery charger mounted, and I've got the wires running down the back and back around behind my batteries. And of course the main one that I'm going to plug in is going to be over there when I put the gizmo in place. But to hold those wires, I use one of these. I love these little zip ties. You put a screw through the top there and then zip tie those wires. So I have those going along the wood, keeping the wires out of the way. So for the next step, for my little gizmo, you're going to have to find something, the hole saw that fits over here but doesn't go into these holes right here. So it has to be big enough to fit over this, and for that you'll want, I already measured it for you, you'll want a 2-inch hole saw. Now down in there's a little hole, and there's a little Allen screw here. You'll need a pilot bit as well. So you stick the pilot bit into the hole, you tighten that screw down, and then that'll go through your wood or metal first, and then this will go through. Now keep in mind, this is an Ace Hardware 2-inch. This, in my particular wall, it has to go through the metal on the outside, then whatever inside the walls, if there is anything, then it's got to go through the metal on the inside here. So I got a metal, bimetal blade. Okay, if yours was only all wood and maybe fiberglass, you might get around with just a wood one, but get a bimetal cutter. It'll say bimetal right on there, and it'll tell you you need a pilot drill, so pick up your drill bit. And I'm going to put my duct tape on the outside. I don't want to go from the inside and drill because it will punch through the outside and look real nasty. I'm going to put my duct tape on the outside, go through, and if my pilot drill bit is long enough, then it will, you know, go all the way through, and it'll just continue taking that with it. Or I might have to stop, you know, drill it, stop, and punch a hole with just the bit through the inside, clean this out, there's little slots to clean it out, and then put the pilot bit back up to line up that hole, and then continue on through this side. So let's get that done, and I'll show you what it looks like. So we're ready to drill our hole. I just want to tell you once again, I have a variable speed drill. You just don't want to crank it up real fast. You want to start off slow. I have a bimetal hole saw bit. I have the drill bit. That's a 1/4 inch drill bit. It goes into that sleeve inside. You want to make sure you have a 1/4 inch so there's no sloppiness. If you get a different brand, it may be different, but I think they're all 1/4 inch. But once you put it in, there's a little Allen head there, and you tighten it down real good, so you're good to go. And getting up when you're old. Oh, we did that again. Watch the camera go round and round. So I know right about right there is where my drill is going to be. You get one shot at this, go slow. You're going to poke through one side and then drill through, and then that's what the pilot bit's doing. Okay, now that I got it here, I'm going to set the camera down and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Hopefully your pilot hole will go all the way through. I've done the first hole here on the outside. As you can see, hopefully, back through there, I've got a hollow spot. So I've drilled through the metal and then I've hit this, but my pilot hole, see how that went all the way through down there? Hopefully you can see that. So there's a little piece of wood here, this is hollow, but now I've got to drill through that metal. But I can't keep going because, like I said, the first plug is in there and it's stopping those teeth from hitting that metal. And so I've got to take a screwdriver, run it in that slot there that way, and get all that out. Then I'll stick it back in there. I'll make sure I've got it square and I'll continue drilling through. Now that's a thick piece of metal. I might actually have to buy another hole saw, but it should get through that. This is only a cheap hole saw from Ace Hardware, but it should go through. I mean, usually they'll go through 20-25 cuts before they get too dull. So that's what it looks like. What that also tells me is I got about an inch or so gap. So I'm gonna have a choice to make. I can either take my doohickey, and right now it only has 2 holes in it. When you line this gasket up, the gasket has 4. So I could line these little holes up and then drill 2 more and use 4 sheet metal screws and only do it to the outside, or I can just use these 2 right here and use longer screws or nuts and bolts and go all the way through. I'm going to decide that. You'll have to wait till the end of the video to see which one I do. So stay tuned. So we have our outlet installed. I just want to show you something real quick. Now pay attention. I used a 2-inch bit, okay, the 2-inch hole saw. Now the reason I did that is because I have metal on the other side. So this is actually smaller than that. If you were just going through and you didn't have metal where those contacts could hit, then you might want to do like a 1 3/4 hole or 1 7/8. You'd have to measure, and this would fit more snug. So now, because this is 2 inches, these 2 screws wouldn't fit in because I've got that gap. So I need to find a couple screws like this. I moved it all the way over this way, so these got a good bite. Now I'm going to find a couple of these little 1/8 inch or whatever they are, but long, so I can kind of tilt it, and then it won't be going through this. There's a hole right there. It'll go to that plate in the back and anchor into that, and that'll pull this little gap here up tight. But the reason I went 2 inch, again, we're going to plug this in, make sure everything works. Oh really, my extension cord is going to be too big for this? No, that can't be right. Hey, what do you know? Come on, get in there. Perfect. Okay, we're going to go over here, and it should be on because I plugged it in. Or I didn't plug it in. No, I didn't plug it in yet. So basically, when I plugged this in, I was going to show you this anyways. Here's the tail coming through, and here's, let's see, I got to put this camera down. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still playing with this thing. I'm an old guy. Cut me some slack. Okay, here's the rubber grommet that I slid all the way up to protect that, because this metal was right on there. So that's why this is a 2-inch hole. So I could have drilled like 1 3/4 on the outside, and then because my pilot hole came through here, took the 2-inch and went this way, and then those 4 little screws would have fit. So just pay attention to that. It's really, really important. Here's the end of my little pigtail. Now what I'll do is, this is always going to be plugged in, so I will probably tape this up just like I taped up the battery connectors, and that it just gets tucked away way back there. I'll use another one of those zip ties just to hold this, like I did right here. I'll use one of those zip ties to hold this that way. So those cords are basically out of the way, everything's out of the way, and there you go. I can see with this particular model that these 2 are blinking, so they're not connected. So my 2 batteries are connected here. If these were blinking, they would be at 80%. Shoot, talking to you, but down on the floor again. Okay, can you see these now? Okay, these 2 are where I'm hooked up. It's charging. These 2 have nothing on them. So once I get to 80%, these 2 would blink, and then when they're fully charged, they would stay, solid like this. So if these were blinking on this other side, then that would tell me I would have a polarity wrong. But when you get your little battery tender, just read the directions, it'll show you. So this all looks pretty good now. I've got the nice grommet here coming through. The wires are out of the way. I'm not going to hit on that when I'm using my reels. Now I told you earlier that I did, spray everything down with water. So I did put some electrical tape around those connections on the battery, just like I normally do, because they're going to stay permanent. And I'll put some, like maybe a little piece of plastic or something hanging down when I go to rinse this out. because I don't want to get water splashed up in there. And but you know, if you're careful, that's why I put it up high. You shouldn't have anything splash on it. You're not going to have it connected anyways. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I did go to the hardware store. I bought some 12 by 2 inch self-tapping drill screws, and then I took myself a little bit of a pilot bit there. This bit is actually busted. This is not the one I used, but I'm just showing you I used a small bit, and then I drilled 2 pilot holes, and I used these screws to go all the way through. So now it looks really good. It's on there snug, nothing's moving. Keep in mind, these were number 10s, I believe, and these are number 12s. I couldn't find any 10s at my store, so these two are screwed into the outside metal, and then these two 2.5 inches long. If you can find 3 inches or 1.5 inches, just remember you got to go all the way through, and the end of the bit right here, that's the drill part, that has to go through far enough so that the screw part bites into your metal. So keep that in mind when you're doing these. But these are a little bit ugly looking. Nobody really is going to notice except for me, and I don't like that. But the cap fits on, it's real snug. And as an added bonus, since you now have electric going into your trailer, even though I'm only using it for, you know, the one battery charger, you can actually just put a 2-way on there or something and have an extra outlet in case if you want to put a small heater in there during the winter. You can, you know, put a small heater in and keep your pumps dry, or not dry but heated, so they don't freeze. You know, I might put one in there. I'm here in Florida, it's supposed to get down to 29 tomorrow. Maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't, but anyways, that's a little added bonus of having electric. So thanks for watching. Once again, thumbs up, subscribe, buy anything you want with my Amazon link. It helps you, it helps us, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.